So it's important. And we've got, pill mills and pain clinics. New statistics came in today. 7 people die a day in Florida from the overdose of prescription drugs. We cannot allow this to continue to happen. We got to continue to fight gangs. We have 7 regional task force. Gangs have become the organized crime of our time. They really have. They recruit 12-year-olds because they know if a 12-year-old gets caught committing a really violent act, they're probably not going to prison. And they just keep recruiting them, ruining lives and ruining the lives of the people that they harm on a daily basis. We've got to drive a stake in the heart of the gangs in this state as well. We've got to continue the good work of Attorney General McCollum on cybercrime, protect our children from online predators, protect our seniors from scam artists. They are all over the internet now. And on and on and on. Stakes are high. You mentioned 1964. 1964, Ronald Reagan gave a speech called "A Time for Choosing." And the country had 2 very clear paths at the time. We could go down the conservative path, lower taxes, less government. We could go down the big government path. We chose the wrong path. We're still paying for it today. As you sit here today, this is our generation's time for choosing. The decisions that we make in the next 2 election cycles will determine the fate of this country for the next 50 to 100 years, if not forever. That's how high the stakes are. Are we going to continue to be the freest, greatest nation on earth? Are we going to continue to be the shining city on a hill where people want to come to make a better life for themselves and their families and their futures? That's what's at stake. And so for you to be here tonight, for you to come to these meetings, shows so much about what's in your heart for this country, how deeply and passionately you feel about our freedom, and it's important. We're all going to, this is not one of those cycles where we can just go through the motions. This is one of those cycles where if you've got a neighbor across the street that you politely wave to every other day or so, but you don't really talk, you can't do that this time. You've got to walk across the street and go tell them why you're voting for who you're voting for and why, and make sure they're voting too. Or if they're going to vote the wrong way, tell them it's the next, they change the election day or something. We've got to get everybody out. You've got to talk to everyone at work, everyone at church, everyone in your neighborhood, everyone on your email list. The stakes are that high. Everybody, it's all hands on deck this time. And I'll just close with this, and I'll take some of your questions. Because I think this kind of gets to the heart of the problem in Washington, D.C. They don't believe in the American people. They don't believe in the American people. They don't believe in the spirit and power of each individual American. And you'll hear them all the time. You'll hear these guys say, vote for me and I'll fight for the regular guy. I'll fight for the average American, the ordinary American. I hate that. I will never say that. I will never say that, and I'll tell you why. Because I do not believe that the guy that shows up at the end of your driveway the same day every week to pick up your trash, who works 12 to 14 hours a day, and at the end of the day he goes home, he's covered in dirt, he's sweaty, he probably doesn't smell so great, but as he starts to walk up the driveway, his 2 kids come and run up to him and say, "Daddy, Daddy," and they're so excited to see him. This guy works hard every day, and he takes care of his family, he pays his taxes. He's not ordinary. He's not average. He's extraordinary. The woman that gets up at 5 in the morning and puts on her scrubs to go work as a nurse at a hospital, and if anybody's been a nurse or knows a nurse, on your feet all day, trying to help people, trying to save lives. She goes home, she's got blood on her, who knows what else. But maybe she stops at 7-Eleven on the way home and gets a couple of Slurpees for her little kids. And when she walks in the door and they hear that doorknob turning, and they go yelling, "Mommy, Mommy," she's not average to them. She's not regular or ordinary. She's extraordinary. My dad gets up at 4:30 every day to drive that dump truck. This guy taught me work ethic. He taught me how to work. Even if it took 3 jobs, that's what it took. He taught me how to work for what I wanted and needed in life. He's not ordinary. He's my hero. The fact of the matter is there are no ordinary Americans. We are an extraordinary people. And if we turn this country back over to the American people and their talents and their skills and their energy and their innovation will turn this country around. And we'll have prosperity like we've never had before. But we can only do it if we all continue to do what you're doing here tonight. Get together, work together, fight together for our future, fight for our freedom. Thank you for having me tonight.
Is that we have questions that were submitted to us, so I'll ask the questions so we can go quickly for you, but we want to be able to get to the heart of it. Constitution.
Going to the lightning round.
Yeah, lightning round. Thank you.
Just in case.
Okay. Regarding Constitution, how would you interpret the Constitution, as a living document or by original intent?
The founders, you know, that was one of the, when I first was elected, 2000 in the legislature. So we spent 3 weeks talking about the Federalist Papers, the founders. It was a remarkable experience, but clearly you have to look to the original intent. There was so much thought, so much effort, and it's an amazing document. I'm an originalist.
On that. What kind of law did you practice before you got into politics?
I first clerked for 2 federal judges, so I was exposed to everything in Miami. So a lot of drug cases, a lot of criminal cases. Then I was a partner at the largest firm in Fort Myers for 17 years, primarily defending people like you who were sued, or Publix was one of my big clients. As I moved up the ladder in the legislature, I actually took over the appellate practice because I wasn't there as much. And my very last year, I continued to get accused of being a trial lawyer, although frankly I went to another firm because I didn't have time to be there. I didn't practice a whole lot of law, but my whole life I've been primarily a defense lawyer, AB rated. I'm a lawyer's lawyer. I've tried many cases in state and federal court, but now of course I'm lieutenant governor, so I don't practice at all.
Question regarding, especially going into the position of Attorney General, what is your view on tort reform?
Well, you know, we get trapped into that. It should be called litigation reform. And there's a whole host of areas that I think they missed the boat on. It's not so much the high-end cases that kill you. It's the thousands and thousands and thousands of nickel and dime cases. And the real litigation reform should be aimed at weeding out this whole layer of cases that have borderline merit at best, but it costs millions and millions of dollars to defend. And what they do, and as a guy that was a defense lawyer all these years, they settle these cases that drive you crazy. You say, please, let's just try them. You know, I've had jury trials as a defense lawyer for 17 years, and I never lost a trial. And the reason is, juries are composed of people like you. You know, it's citizens that get it. You know, they hear the facts and they, you know, this is ridiculous. And I think you should trust the people. They'll take care of the bad cases.
On that note, in July, our next meeting, we're looking for bringing in judges that are running also, because it's real important to know as far as the judges that are trying the cases. Also, another thing that's become a national issue is the immigration law in Arizona. What is your view on that?
You know, anybody that's critical of Arizona does not understand what they're faced with. They have a very violent drug war spilling across their borders. Innocent citizens, innocent law enforcement officers being murdered. Phoenix, now the #2 city in the world for kidnapping. Phoenix, #2 in the world. That's all related to the drug war. It is a very, very dangerous situation. Now, we're not in quite that situation here in Florida, but I can tell you one thing. You as a taxpayer are being impacted by this every day. You can go to most of the jails in Florida, and a good number of their prison beds or jail beds are occupied by illegal immigrants. Obviously, a huge cost in health care, education. You're paying millions and millions of dollars. So I can tell you this, if I'm your Attorney General, I'm suing the federal government, because if they're not going to do their job, then they should pay for it.
And that leads to the next question. And so you step into the position of Attorney General. How do you see going forward with the health care lawsuit that is currently in place?
Well, it'll be interesting to see where it is. I suspect the first round of hearings is in September. It's going to be tried mostly, and it's not so much going to be like a jury trial. It's going to be with the bench mostly. And I suspect it'll go to the 11th Circuit. I've practiced before the 11th Circuit many times in Atlanta, and it'll go to the